To celebrate this being my 151st video, I want to pay some tribute to one of my favorite video game series of all time. Now this milestone may not be much and these videos may have been done to death on other channels. I will however say that this means something sentimental to me. Now before I get started with the actual list, I have a few honorable mentions. Dragonair forward to Zoomeril Zigzagoon, Pelipper Gardevoir Cacturna Mauler, Absol Kyogre Terra Rampardos Garchomp Lucario, Electivire, Leafeon Moona Maractus Galvantula, BM, Beartick, Golder, Heatmore, Fervent, Puku, Muku, Alolan, Ninetales, Tapu, Koko, Tapfini, and Zorora. Hell yeah! You know, it's funny, I had a hard time even selecting who would be on the honorable mentions list. That's how much I love Pokemon as a whole. It really is a series that means so much to me. So, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Number 10. Tropius. Back in my wee years of being a youngin', one of my favorite things to do besides playing baseball was collect Pokemon cards. I still remember around 2nd grade or so, our class had a garage sale of sorts, and one of my classmates was selling Pokemon cards. I got some, it was a Dragonair Weedle card, and the rest was history. Collecting cards was still something new to me, so almost every card I got was special. Yes, that meant every time I got a Wingull card, I lit up like a star. However, one day one card pack I opened up had this neat Brachiosaurus-looking Pokemon card. He had palm tree leaves growing off him, and he even had bananas under his chin. Almost immediately I loved this Pokemon. Plus, combined with the fact that I love tropical themes and dinosaurs, it was a match made in heaven. This card specifically was the EX Dragon Frontier series. To this day, I still have that card, and I will always cherish my flying palm tree dino. Number 9. Blastoise. The original water-type starter. The shell-shocking, super armored shellfish Pokemon. Admit it, you know that you find this Pokemon awesome. I ain't being a Gen 1er either. It is scientifically proven that you will like this Pokemon, or you're not human. What? What do you mean it's not scientifically proven? Oh, what do you know? While I didn't technically grow up in the original 151, I grew up with Jordan Cohen, this Pokemon always managed to capture my imagination. I mean, how could it not? The twin cannons on its back, a sturdy shell, an awesome cry, and most importantly, it's blue! Blastoise actually was the very first Pokemon deck I ever had for the TCG. More specifically, it was the EX Crystal Guardian Storm Surge deck. Heck, I even own a good amount of Blastoise merchandise, both official and handmade. This is all without bringing up his well-designed Mega and relatively good use in the metagame. You see, our boy in blue ain't just got the looks. This chill Chordata has the move pool and stats to back it up. For the most part. Bulky and strong enough to act as both a tank and your damage dealer while providing an excellent spinner for those pesky entry hazards. Did I mention he's blue? Number 8. Alolan Marowak. I've always liked Marowak's design, but unfortunately, I never really used him in battle, both casually and competitively. Someone over at Game Freak must have felt the same way and decided not only to give him in a new form, but also give him 2 great offensive typings. During the 2017 VGC season, I used one while in a regional tournament over here in Anaheim, California. I was genuinely surprised how hard the little champ could hit for while under the effect of a Trick Room, courtesy of my Porygon 2. Base 110 defense and base 80 attack, it doubles with Thick Club, is actually pretty good. I specifically ran mine with the ability Lightning Rod to nullify opposing Tapu Kokos and Swords Dance to set up if someone messed up. This mon was always a pleasure to use once a match was midway or almost done. Opposing Celesteela? Retired. Enemy Tapu Lele? You're done. Big Boy Bulu? Let's just say the Ghost type is more fitting now. Number 7. Latios. You know, I've always found Psychic-type Pokemon interesting. They're just so mysterious and charming in their own way. This young Pokemon has always given me plenty of reasons to appreciate it. Design, typing, moveset, etc. I'm not quite sure as to what I saw first, Latios in the anime or the cards, but I do remember loving the Latios EX Holland Phantoms card. Heck, even the name Holland Phantom sounds cool. Also, since I love the Pokemon Heroes movie, it really helped to cement this Pokemon in my heart. Plus, it was kind of the only Pokemon movie that I didn't miss regularly when it was on here. Looking at you, Destiny Deoxys! Anywho, the sleek jet-like design of Latios is something to behold. Pair that up with 2 great offensive typings, the Color Blue, and you got yourself a fantastic mon. Latios has consistently remained within the top of the metagame ever since its introduction, and very few Pokemon can claim that feat. Go on, just try a list of Pokemon that have accomplished that. No, not you, I meant them. Neat fact, I usually name mine Arwing. After, you know, the R-Wings and Star Fox, that is. Number 6. Ampharos. The farther I get into this list, the more aware I am that I may actually die of grinning too hard. The entire Mareep line of evolution is almost painfully too adorable. When I got my first mainline Pokemon game, that being Soul Silver, one of the Pokemon I had on my team the longest was my Ampharos named Feroix. I named him that because I thought it was, that the stripes and gem on his head looked very Egyptian, I should say. I'll admit, it's not a very strong reason, but, I was a kid. I still remember being too darn stubborn to let my Mareep evolve, but once I saw the proud Ampharos of Olivine City Lighthouse, I knew he had to evolve. So, it was then I took up his Everstone and let my buddy become who he was destined to be. Oh, did I mention that one of the reasons for Ampharos' name is from the famed Lighthouse of Alexandria? Yeah, the lighthouse itself was named the Pharos Lighthouse. How about that for a neat bit of trivia, eh? Anyway, I also want to bring up Amphi's Mega Design. The majestic looking mane is so great yet oddly fitting for him. And they plopped on the dragon typing for him, and while Ampharos does have decent stats, it's still not enough to make him great, but oh well, I still love the big old sheep. Pulu to you too, good sheep. Number 5. Empoleon. Hey, Game Freak, where's the, Gen 4 remake? Why do you gotta do this to us, huh? Where's our HD Sinnoh, our HD Mount Coronet, our HD Starters, our HD Cynthia Battle Sorry for, losing my composure back there. Back to our regularly scheduled programming, eh? Anyway, Empoleon is definitely one of my favorite Sinnoh starters, which is kinda tough to say when he's got such tough competition with Infernape and Torterra. Nevertheless, he remains my favorite of the trio. Can we just take a minute to discuss Empoleon's design? Trident Beak? Okay. Steel-bladed flippers? Alright. Cravat? Yeah, I said it. This mon's got a cravat. Like yours truly. No, not him. No, not him either. I thought AIs were supposed to be smart. Regardless, Empoleon's design is on point. But wait! That's not all. This mon has the stats and moves to match. Water and Steel make a great defensive pairing. Plus, add on utility moves such as Defog, Stealth Rock, and Roar, and you've got yourself a bulky lad. Sure, he's not exactly at the top of the metagame, but he does his job nicely. A neat fact is that the design of Empoleon actually inspired the design of a character I made for a video game I've been working on for some time. And by some time, I mean way too damn long. Number 4. Volcarona, Haxorus, and Braviary. Before I do anything, I want to explain why 3 Pokemon are on this spot on the list. It was very difficult for me to actually list who are my actual top 10 favorite Pokemon. I love almost every single Pokemon, and for various reasons. However, when I got to the list and thought of who I wanted on it, I couldn't think of one without the other. To me, these 3 specifically make up one whole. Let me elaborate a little more. Whenever I reach the end or post-game, I would always rely on these 3. My Volcarona, named Sun Hero, to hatch my eggs with the ability Flame Body, my Haxorus with, fortunately, to use Taunt and False Swipe to help catch post-game legendaries. And last but not least, my Braviary named Ike to use Fly so I can get anywhere. Hence why I think of them as a whole, rather than just individually. I will say, however, that they aren't all from the same game, oddly enough. I got my first Haxorus in white, which I once accidentally Wonder Traded her away in an Alpha Sapphire. Thankfully, after bargaining with the trainer for her back in Japanese using only a Pokemon nicknamed Dononokis, did I get her back. I got Ike and Sun Hero in Alpha Sapphire and while exploring the Mirage Islands in the postgame. But ever since then, I've always used them in the postgame every single time. I want to also mention a little something about their designs and their battle prowess. Volcarona has such a great offensive typing in the form of Bug Fire, with just some of the best stats for speed, special attack, and defense. Almost everything about Volcarona is amazing: the Mothra-like design, great backstory, amazing moveset, and access to the coveted move Quiver Dance. What more could I ask for, besides not being weak to Stealth Rocks? Haxorus and their entire line of evolution is almost perfection. Axew is adorable, Fracture is great, and Haxorus flat out is the Arbiter, but decided to split the energy sword and attach it to his mouth. He's actually a pretty good sweeper with nice coverage thanks to Earthquake and Poison Gem. Braviary is America. America is Braviary. God bless the United States of Unova, baby! But in all seriousness, this Pokemon is so cool, not just because of its design origin, you know. The Alpha Sapphire Dex entry goes on to state, they fight for their friends without any thought about danger to themselves. Sound familiar? Wonder who that could be, Hence why I named him Mike. Plus, I thought the colors fit too. He's also not half bad in battle due to his abilities and moveset coverage. You know, because he's defiant. I guess kind of like Ike. Yeah, I get it, I'm driving this analogy. Moving on. Number 3. Minun. So, let's take a step back in time for this one. Specifically back to September 2008. I had just gotten my first DS for my birthday. One of my parents' friends gifted me a Pokemon game. My very first Pokemon game, to be exact. That's correct, my first Pokemon journey began at the age of 10, just like every other trainer. Well, in the show and the game, not like everyone in real life, never mind. What was that game, you ask? Well, it was Pokemon Ranger. Upon playing the game and stepping off the boat into Fall City Harbor, I was met with a Minun. This Minun would take a liking to the Ranger and to me, and I in turn would take a liking to this new companion of mine as well. We journeyed far and wide, solving problems here and there. We calmed down a rampaging Charizard, took down the klutzy and kooky Gorak squad, and braved the hardship of being a Pokemon Ranger. Minun was indeed my very first Pokemon companion, and because of that, it will always remain something special in my heart. But that's not all. In fact, let's fast forward to November 2014. Here I would get Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Now, of course, in my team, I included a Minun to once again assist me in my travels. And assist me she did. My Minun, named Blue Girl, would use a variety of status moves to help me and my team out. She helped me and my team throughout the entirety of the game. I'll always look back fondly at when I first played a Pokemon game and think back of my own Minun. Number 2. Typhlosion. April 2010. I would finally get my hands on Pokemon Soul Silver. My first actual mainline series Pokemon game. That meant my first actual starter. My first actual journey as a Pokemon trainer with the Pokemon by my side to battle, trade, and compete. I easily chose Cyndaquil as my starter, as even now it remains my favorite starter and one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. From Newbark Town to the historical town of Ecruteak, to the Whirl Island Caves, to the Indigo Plateau and beyond, she was there. My Typhlosion, my Stormfire was there at every single turn. During that time, I was living in a new county and in a new house, and I remember that playing Pokemon was the one thing that would cheer me up at every single time, without fail. The fact that when I was feeling down, I could turn on my game and walk alongside my Typhlosion meant the world to me. I still have my Stormfire with me every time I go to a new region. This Pokemon isn't a slouch in the battling department either, boasting a respectable speed and special attack with decent coverage. I should probably explain her nickname. See, she was supposed to be named after a character from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, specifically Firestar. However, due to my poor memory, I couldn't remember the name, so I thought it was Stormfire. Thus, Stormfire, the Cyndaquil / Typhlosion, was born. Number 1. So, who made it all the way to my number 1 spot? Who beat out my very first Pokemon I ever had? Which Pokemon could possibly be my all-time favorite? Easy! It's an entire team of Pokemon that has journeyed with me in almost every single game. This so-called generational team is brought into every new game I play. Think of them as a team reborn every generation. I will introduce you to my team in reverse order, leading up to the very first of the team. Look upon and on to this elegant testament to a benevolent revenant. I show to you the Gripper Pokemon Dusknoir. Not a spirit to be feared, but one to guide those who have passed on from this world. This Reaper Pokemon continues to intrigue me, not only by its design, but also how cunning and tricky those Pokemon can be in battles. I still remember how I came upon Dusknoir. I was walking around the store in the mall that sold Pokemon figures and merchandise. In the corner near some figures, I saw a Pokemon I had never seen before. It looked like an ominous genie-like Pokemon. Right at that moment, I was sold on its design and would immediately try and get one to finish off my growing dream team in Soul Silver. Speaking of my growing dream team, claiming an entire mountain as their own, and for those poor few who violate that space, there is hell to pay. Seizing the attention of all those who bear witness to its massive size is Aggron. The Iron Armor Pokemon is next on my generational team of all-time favorites. As a child, two of my favorite cards were that of the Aeron Alaron EX Crystal Guardian cards. I loved them because as a child, I actually thought they were some kind of weird metal sharks. However, at one point I saw the actual evolution of the two and put together that it must have been related to them. I would then go on and search out for Aron and Soul Silver to add to my growing dream team. Upon evolving him all the way to an Aggron, I was rewarded with one of my favorite tanks in Pokemon. Something about Aggron just reminds me of my love for the Godzilla films and just how fun they can be. Perhaps it's the mighty stature, or his great sounding cry, or perhaps his Pokemon just spells destruction for those near it. Regardless, Aggron is one of my favorite both in and out of battle. I mean, have you seen this thing with a Choice Banded head smash? There's some zero conditions that we deem too harsh. It is called home to many magnificent creatures. Leaving the water's wake is the Icebreak Pokemon Walrein. I gotta be honest, the walrus is probably one of my favorite animals on the planet. The fact that these gentle giants can swim up to 20 miles per hour underwater is pretty freaking awesome. Plus, both can flat out break through ice using their massive tucks. One of, if not one of the biggest reasons I also love Walrein is because as a kid I had a Team Aqua Spiel card. It was one of my favorite cards and I thought it was so neat. But I remember a friend of mine had a Celio card I wanted so badly. He would refuse to trade it for any card I had. I would unfortunately never get a hold of it, but one day in Soul Silver I caught a Spiel in the Safari Zone. I immediately included it on the Dream Team and leveled it all the way up. To my surprise, it evolved once more into a Walrein, which was basically the sealing deal on what was to be one of my all-time favorite Pokemon. While Walrein isn't the best competitively, he usually remains pretty helpful to me in the postgame by being my surf buddy, and taking down dragons that my other teammates couldn't deal with. Can I just start off by saying how happy and hype I am that Gallade not only got a Mega, but they included him in one of the coolest fights in Pokemon history? While Wally's fight was a tad bit easy for me, I did pause to just marvel at what they had built for the kid. He started out frail and weak, much like a Ralts, but given the time and care, they both managed to something better. I think the idea of, with enough care and opportunity anyone can succeed, is one of my favorite things that draws me not only to Pokemon, but to Gallade itself. Much like the other Pokemon on this list, I grew fond of the Blade Pokemon because of the TCG. Again, like how I mentioned earlier, I always found Psychic Pokemon mysterious. Because of this, when I found out that Curly evolved into this really cool Pokemon as well as Gardevoir, I was ecstatic. Quickly adding a Gallade onto the Dream Team, I just as quickly realized how good this thing was too. He had an amazing array of moves as well as respectable stats for attacking. Honestly, it just always feels fun using a Gallade to me. Salamence is probably within the top 3 best dragons of all time for Pokemon. Not only has the dragon Pokemon remained competitively viable since its introduction, but his Mega essentially boosted his stats and utility into the stratosphere. With a base stat of total of 600, Salamence will be of use to your team. I can guarantee that. Well, I probably can't legally say I can guarantee that, you know, forget it. Not only can he be an excellent special and physical attacker, but he can also provide support in the form of Intimidate, Wish, Tailwind, and Defog. There is so much to discuss in terms of his design and evolution alone. Akin to the Gallade entry, Bacon started off yearning to one day fly, and through determination and work, he achieved it. Finally, upon evolving your Shelgon into a Salamence, you will be met with this beautifully sleek and ferocious blue dragon. If you haven't noticed, I love the color blue. My love for the Azure Beast started when I saw the Jirachi Wishmaker movie, and in fact, later that day when I went out to go buy a booster pack, I randomly got a Salamence EX card from the Power Keeper series. It had a whopping 160 HP, which at the time was the highest HP I had even seen a card go up to. Within my generational team, Salamence is one of the most useful members of the team, providing excellent coverage and being able to fly me around the region. I'm so glad that my Salamence essentially sweeps Zinnia's team up on Sky Pillar. Leading my generational team and reserving the spot as one of, if not my favorite Pokemon of all time, is the Fish Fighting Sports Set and Swords Dancing Breloom. When I first got my very first Pokemon cards, my mom that week took me to a Toys R Us and purchased me a Breloom figure with a Shroomish marble. I didn't actually know that Shroomish would evolve into him all the way up until I played Pokemon Sapphire. After I beat the Elite Four with Stormfire and Soul Silver, I took a break and played a copy of Sapphire and got at the swap meet. I remember catching a Shroomish in Petalburg Woods and using him on my team all the way up to the Weather Institution. Team Aqua stood no chance against my team, and my Shroomish in particular. Right before I got up to Shelly, my Shroomish evolved into a Breloom. My brain at that time completely imploded at the thought that now I had my favorite figure and Pokemon on my team. My Breloom utterly decimated her Carvana and Mightyena. I then made the trek all the way back to Slateport to the Name Raider and gave my Breloom the eternal moniker of Shroom King. From then on, every Breloom on the generational team would carry the title of Shroom King as a tradition. I gave him the name since I thought the little cap reminded me of some weird kind of crown. Not only do I love Breloom casually, but this boy puts in a lot of work for me in competitive. I used to run him with a Poison Heal and a Toxicorn, but I would later then have him run Technician and a Life Orb. Almost no Pokemon could withstand a Technician boosted, Stab boosted, Mach Punch, or Bullet Seed. Anytime my opponent messed up and I had my Breloom, you can bet I would put them to sleep using Spore and then proceed to Swords Dance. Breloom is what comes to mind when I think of Gen 3, and I'm damn happy about that. With all that said and done, I am happy that I could share my passion for Pokemon with you guys. I've always wanted to just sit and discuss my all-time favorite Pokemon, so this video truly means a ton to me. However, with all that said, what Pokemon do you guys care about and why? Perhaps in the comment section discuss who your favorite Pokemon is and what tales you have to share with them. Thank you very much for your time. I'm the Eternal Composer, and I hope you have a great day. See ya.